Hello, fellow Megatennists, and welcome to another episode of Hello Fellow Megatennists. I'm Larrue, and with me is Spider.
Hey.
Neb.
Hello.
And Glib.
Glib?
I can't say yo. Oh, did it work? I don't know.
No, we didn't hear anything.
That's crazy.
All right, great
This is
intro.
why you're the least favorite, dude. So we got a lot of news because a lot of really weird things happened, but I feel like the most interesting stuff was the stuff with the community, so I can't wait to talk about that.
Okay.
The community is actually being productive, and that's crazy. So let's get started by talking about this one unfortunate thing that happened. I believe the last day of this arcade will be tomorrow. There's 3 different arcades in Akihabara. I pronounced that wrong.
Akihabara?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Sega arcades. You didn't
Sega arcades is
yeah,
going
you
to
didn't
be
specify that. It's the Sega arcade that's going away. You just said the arcade.
I put 1. So there's 3 of them in Akihabara, and they're wow, I said it wrong again. But it's the biggest one, the one that's kind of actually left a mark on the cityscape. So if you did if you took a photo of it, you'd be like, wow. Sega Building 2, that one's gonna be closed forever. It's like a huge arcade, one of the many huge ones. I believe it's 5 or 6 floors of just arcades. Yeah, it's gonna be gone forever. There's the thought is that it's just due to Corona, affecting people going. And
The landscape is changing literally. After how many decades has that been up?
Oof. 2003 is when this one opened, so it's not super old. So 17 years for this particular building, but
it almost made it to adulthood.
Almost, yeah. And it's one of the things where Sega's reports, like the annual sales reports, have been indicating a decline in their arcade business anyways. So I think that in saying that Corona didn't help.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
to go to that one that I think you actually can go to it inside of it in Yakuza. Don't quote me on that, but someone was telling me that you can see it in Yakuza. But I was
going to ask that question. I know they take place in different areas. I think in different ones. But maybe there's one where you can go there.
I think it's the newest one with the Ichiban or whoever the new protagonist is.
Yeah, Ichiban, he's number 1.
The spin-off one, right?
Is it a spin-off? It's called Yakuza 7, isn't it?
It's not the spin-off.
Oh. I thought it was... I don't even know if that's out yet. I haven't been following anything.
It's out in Japan. It's coming. It's supposed to come out in the West pretty soon. And it has the weird localization name, Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like a dragon.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm like, dude, it's like a dragon. So when you play that game and you see that arcade, just know that it's gone forever in real life by the time we get the game in the West. Sucks. I don't know. I actually had it on my itinerary for going to Japan because it's one of the places where one floor is just Print Club machines, and I was hoping that they would have the old Atlas Print Club 2s, which have the Jack Frost thing, so I could record footage of it. But now it's gonna be gone forever, and yeah,
I have to break in.
Yeah, basically. The other thing that kind of ties into that is that Sega is joining the Print Club game again, or they're already back in it again. So I guess it's weird that
they made a giant new Print Club machine, and it looks pretty nice. It's looks like studio quality photos,
which is kind of like a weird market because I know the original appeal was that it was like just portable photos, but that's obviously a ship that's long sailed and gone. It's not relevant anymore.
I mean, it's kind of nice if you need something for your resume or whatever, and you could just go there, grab a photo, and done instead of having to go to a photographer or something to get something professionally done.
That's true. Did you know? This is because I'm working on my Print Club script. They actually had an aroma club, which would check your aura and would give you a perfume based on it.
I remember reading about that. It was really weird.
They had a bunch of weird ones. They had ones that would record little You can record little GIFs basically and print out a keychain of a GIF of you doing something. It's like, and they also had a passport one, which is what you just reminded me of, because I'm like, dude.
I could use one of those fake passport.
No, it would print out like actual like the photo you would need for a passport. It was literally just for that.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, that's a lot better than getting it taken anywhere else, because passport photos are, yeah, it's like driver's license photos. They are not flattering.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that. But anyway, that's that. The next thing that I thought was interesting is the DDS Jewelry line got a bunch of new merch, including a Jack Frost made out of denim. They're doing a pop-up shop right now, and if you buy anything from the pop-up shop, you can get this cool Jack Frost Corona blocker mask thing.
Corona blocker.
And it looks kind of good, actually. But you were saying that it's not the kind that you're supposed to wear for Corona?
Yeah, it's not recommended to wear that type of mask. It's like the neck guard mask where it just like goes all the way down your neck. Yeah. But it looks cool. So it's, I don't know. I like it.
I just want to say that the guy in the photograph for the mask, it looks like Hideki Kamiya.
Yeah, kind of.
You mean Kajita?
Yeah, that's Kajita, Mafia Kajita.
Huh? Who is that?
You don't know who that is?
I don't.
He's the guy that's in all Atlas promo, basically.
No.
Yeah.
I don't buy stuff, bro.
Yeah, we don't buy jewelry.
Well, every single like Atlas live stream, well, I mean, except the last one, he was pretty prominent in all of it, especially the 25th anniversary stuff.
And that Persona Stalker Club that they discontinued a while back.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. Apparently, he's a freelance reporter, and I think that's interesting that that's his title.
Of all these things, I like the what is it, Levi Frost plushie. It looks so nice. It actually looks like Jack Frost, not like derpy Jack Frost like all the other ones.
Yeah, I think it's the face shape. The way they actually did the face is more accurate, so that's nice. But they had a couple of other jewelry and stuff they added. They added every single ring that Chiaki wears.
Plus some.
Yeah, Isamu's ring. Black Frost ring, which is like ugly. Like, I'm so sad how ugly it is.
Demi-Fiend recolor as well. It's his tattoos. Yeah, they made the red ones.
Oh yeah, what is that, like True Demon Ending ring, or is that like injured?
It's Chaos King, so I think it's TDE, yeah.
Okay. Chaos King sounds way cooler than True Demon Ending.
Yeah, it does.
Even though it's misleading. But
my favorite of it is the Palaya ring.
Yeah, that one's super good.
The trash demon.
And so I was wondering why he was there, and so I decided to look at the poll from the 25th anniversary. Pleiad, Pleiad, whatever his name is, he's like he's like in the top 20, so he's really popular.
Top 20? I thought he was top 30. Wow, top 20. Jeez.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous for that demon.
Really low, like low 20, like 18, I think, or something. Like it wasn't amazing, but it's still amazing when there's like almost 600 or 700 demons or whatever. You're in the top 20, the trash demon. So he's very popular there. Also, the shirts sold out. They had these 3 ugly shirts. A weird camo, was it green or brown?
Yeah, camouflage Jack Frost shirt. It was like green, white, and darker green.
One of them was pink, which had Black Frost on it. I like that one.
That was the best one. That's the one everyone was wearing on Twitter.
It's one of the things where it's the best of the worst thing. Which, if your prize is being the best worst thing, it's not really that good. But I feel like there was a couple of other rings that they added. Oh yeah, the Shin Megami Tensei If class ring is there as well.
Boo.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they even did that.
It was really expensive too, for some reason.
Is it platinum? Maybe.
I don't know what it was. I didn't find a description of it other than the name, so couldn't find out. Back on the shirts, they were $160 for a T-shirt.
Yeah, ugly T-shirt.
You could get the Jack Frost plushie for $60, or you can spend $160 on a T-shirt.
You could with the cost of the T-shirt, you could literally buy 3 Levi Frost, Jack Frost made out of denim. You could buy 3 of those for the price of one, or maybe it was 2.5 because tax. But it's not. I don't know. The shirts are bad. They did some like promo photos where they made them look less bad, and even then it's still kind of weird. But suffice to say, they added a bunch of new merch. They even talked about having the store show up on Amazon for America or the West. So right now, if you wanted to buy any of the jewelry or anything, you'd have to use a proxy buyer to import it. But if they do what they were thinking of doing, or what they said they're trying to do, which is to get it into the Amazon in the West as a store, then it'd be a lot easier to get the merch, and that'd be kind of nice because it's cheaper too. I was trying to find a picture of Peliad or whatever Pelidid, but
Pelida, I think.
But all the images that I found on Twitter are all like super low resolution.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's just an interesting thing. I'm surprised at how many like attractive young people are into Megaten, because what they've been doing is retweeting anyone who like puts the hashtag, and like everyone was pretty like model-esque and cool. They had the official voice actor for Raido showed up in a Raido cosplay, and a bunch of like other Megaten people, like the rapper guy from Persona showed up. So it's really interesting how much of a like big deal it is that they're doing this pop-up, because the previous pop-ups didn't really garner as much attention, you know.
Yeah, well, this one they had a lot all at once.
Yeah. Oh, here's Pelid. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy the cheap Chiaki ring, which is like a black like I forgot what it's made. It's made of some sort of cheap material. It's just like $60. So I might buy
That's probably one of the cheapest items on there besides the Frost plushie.
Yeah. Oh man, it does look like Metatron. Glib said it looks like Metatron.
There's too much expression in that face to be Metatron.
Fair. But yeah, so that's that. Also, I wanted to talk quickly about some of the fan projects. The most interesting thing is just the sheer amount of translation work that's happening. There's a group called, I guess, Tradu Square. Probably pronouncing that wrong. They're working on SMT 1 translation for Spanish, 4, Persona 1, Devil Survivor, Devil Summoner, and Digital Devil Saga. They had a couple of things on their website that appears to be completed already. But it's really interesting because, you know, I never really considered the Spanish translation scene, like how many, because it wasn't up until I met Hagane, Spider, and aware of who Hagane is.
Yeah.
He runs like the Velvet Network. I didn't know that there was a huge like Spanish Megaten fan base. This is like a very large group of people, and they just don't have they have even less than we have in English, but they're just equally as passionate. So there's this huge push for Spanish translation work, and I think that's pretty impressive, especially when they're doing all these projects all at once. So kudos to that.
Pretty easy to tell if you just look at the questions we get. There's a lot of names that are like very Spanish-y. It's no surprise to me. I don't know how this is a surprise to you.
It's a surprise to me because I don't make the assumption that a Spanish name means that they speak Spanish.
The Portuguese audience is at least getting the Switch now that's officially being released there. So hopefully the rest of South America can get it as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. That the way that Nintendo announced that. So what we're talking about is Nintendo announced that the Switch is going to come come to Brazil in a official capacity. You can buy it easier. But the way they did it was they phrased it exactly like the meme that I've been seeing the last couple of months, the "Come to Brazil" meme.
I think that was definitely intentional.
If it was, it's I almost feel like it's uncharacteristic of Nintendo because I don't think they ever lean into pop culture. It's always really like stale or stale family friendly stuff. So maybe they leaned into the meme because it's not a malicious meme or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a more of a friendly, welcoming one rather than something with a stigma attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're gonna get into Nocturne news. Gotta say, like, before I get started with this, I have like a couple of like things I wanted to discuss. The first thing, Neb, do you like mushrooms?
Whoa here.
Where's this going? What are you talking about?
I'm just asking, do you eat mushrooms? Yes or no?
I did a week ago.
No, I'm saying, is that like a preference? By preference, you would purchase mushrooms for consumption?
What is this?
I've never paid for it. I've had it for free, though.
What about you, Glib?
No, I do not.
Okay. So we're not going to address why I asked that question. The other thing is,
what is going on? What is this?
The other thing is I'm like frustrated with the Nocturne thing altogether. Everything related to Nocturne, I would say that the initial announcement, I had like a hardcore fanboy reaction where I was just super excited. And I think as of the last major announcement, which was the fortune teller site, I am kind of done with Nocturne. I would cancel my pre-orders if I didn't just want the extra posters and stuff. So we're gonna go into it knowing that I'm not happy. The first big thing is the Nocturne. The first major DLC that's not the easy mode is Dante is going to be included, and Dante will be DLC, which will unlock the Maniacs mode, which essentially is just in the title menu. You can choose between starting off the game, the Chronicle version of the game, or you can toggle Maniacs, and it'll just be the same exact game except Dante's in it instead of Rido. So if you buy the DLC, you're not getting Dante as an unlockable character while you're playing the Rido version. It just means you can, toggle between the two. So there's that, and it's not just that it's DLC; it's day one DLC, and it's $10. It's a little cheaper in the Asia regions for like China and Korea. It's like $9. But the fact that they have to pay for it at all is one of my major qualms, I guess. How do you guys feel about the DLC?
Paying for this, bro. It's not me. I'll tell you that much.
Now featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Remember that joke? When people put the label and everything?
Atlas tweeted that label out when they announced it.
Do you remember when Atlas tweeted it? I love that. I love that meme will continue. I was actually hoping that they wouldn't do this at all. Just to like deprive people of that meme. But the idea that they're completely fucking over two of their markets by like taking out the base content of Rido and then being like, pay us another $10 so you get this experience at all. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good move. I like that.
I'm actually seriously wondering how they're going to handle that content now. Like, what's going to happen when like the scenes happen? Like, what?
It's going to skip it. You go up on the stairs and nothing's going to happen. You just move on to the next fucking thing.
I don't know. They could just turn off the events altogether so that it would function just like the vanilla version. That's what Simply Dad was saying. And I'm kind of leaning towards it being something like that where all those event markers for when Dante would show up is just like ticked off or turned off or whatever, so it doesn't do anything.
I agree with that sentiment that it's probably just disabling those events.
Fair enough.
And it's just unfortunate. Like, imagine being a Megaten fan. These people are, and the thing that gets me the most is that when I was looking at the tweets for Atlas Japan and the Nocturne or the Megaten Twitter account, it's the saddest thing. I saw some Chinese posters, and they have this little image that says, "Please explain to us why we don't have Rhino." It's like the most polite language that Google Translate could provide. It was like, please explain to us. We deserve an answer. And they're not saying, give us Rhino. They're saying, can you please just tell us why we don't have Rhino? And it's just so sad because I was also looking at the Sega Facebook pages because Sega posts for Atlas for China and Korea. And it's the same thing. They posted about Dante. They're like, please tell us why we don't have Rhino. Can you please tell us? We just want to know. And it's like, dude, these people are polite, and they're not even getting a response at all.
Well, don't they know though? Don't they know the reason? We surmised it pretty quick.
Well, I mean, we just gave a best guess. The problem is that they both have I don't know. It just sucks because Alice should at least give them a statement or at least issue coupons so they can get like Dante for free for like the first week of release or something.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
or it's like, not even a coupon, just like release it as free or $1 DLC or whatever the lowest possible thing you can in those regions.
It's entirely possible that they don't know because they never got the Rhino games too.
Yeah, that's true. But it was funny because we watched the live stream together, like me, Spider, Simply Dad, and I think Filthy Blasphemer is a SMT streamer, and it lasted all of like a minute, but then after discussing it for about an hour or so, when we checked the Chinese and Korean version of the Nocturne website, it had their version of the trailer, and they're just getting charged for it, which is what made me really upset because it's just dumb. It's just such greedy corporate behavior. And then I remember tweeting about it actually, and I got into like a Twitter argument because of it.
It is also not the only DLC coming. There is more DLC on the way. So we don't know what that is.
Which
there's still more DLC.
Games.
Yes, there is still more DLC for sure.
Yeah, because none of these things are in the DLC page for the Nocturne website. The Dante DLC page is not there, and the other one is in the gameplay, I believe, system and gameplay. Dante is in what characters, or no? I think it's just
special.
Special, yeah.
It's not part of the DLC section.
Yeah, so then the DLC section is the only section that's still empty or locked or whatever. So we'll figure out what that is. I get this bad feeling now because so far this game has been pretty anti-consumer. So I think that it's gonna be stuff that people might want, like a mannequin route or something.
Oh no!
I don't know.
Ben, please no, do not do that. It's one of my favorite parts is that they don't get an ending. Just don't do that.
I don't know.
Save all the mannequins. They'll be your friends.
The power of friendship ending.
Yeah. They'll join your party. They'll have goofy little traits. They're like, "Oh, I'm the horny one. Oh, I'm the clumsy one."
Every Mega 10 game needs a power of a friendship end now.
Yep. Basically, the thing that I was trying to explain why it upsets me, and the best way I could explain it is if you look at any DLC or any re-release of any game that Alice has done so far, it's either content that was cut from the original that gets added on post. So that's like Nocturne is literally an example of that. Same thing with Devil Survivor 2. Some of the stuff got cut. It got put into Record Breaker. Or it's they force some like obnoxious stuff into the game because another waifu means more money, which is literally any other game that I didn't mention basically has that, except like Devil Survivor 1. But all that stuff is free. It's just part of the re-release. Even when they re-released Persona, it only had like 3-year window or whatever, and it got a whole another like 10 minutes or 10 hours of game added on. But this is something that we're paying almost exactly what it cost originally for the PS2 version 17 years ago, and you're paying an extra $10 to get something that is already there that doesn't change anything, because playing as Dante or playing with Dante versus Raido now is not any different because Dante has Pierce now, so it's the same. It's exactly the same. Just this, except the other change is that when you play with Raido, he pays you in the game, so you get money. But when you play with Dante, he charges you. so you lose a little bit of money.
I have a hard time. Well, yeah, that fits Rido's character. I've been playing lately, and he bribes everybody.
Yeah, but then I'm just like, how is that something that's worth $10? But also, like, we're getting a game with we're getting a piece of pie. We're getting a full pie tin with a piece of pie cut out, and then they're charging a separate for that missing pie slice, and it's so dumb to me. And people are just like, no, it's $10. $10 is nothing.
Also, you can virtually acquire the pie for a nominal fee of nothing if you'd like.
Yeah,
through certain means.
Yeah, so that's basically how I feel about that, and it really upsets me. It's one of the major reasons, but we're gonna get into some of the other reasons. One of the other interesting things that happened is Sega released their quarterly earnings, I believe, and in there it mentions a list of games that are coming between the time of the release of the report and the end of the quarters or the fourth quarter or whatever. And in there it lists SMT5 as potentially being released by the end of the end of the first quarter for 2021, which would mean as late as March or as early as sometime this year. I get the feeling that it's just a placeholder date though. Like, it's literally just because this document is for investors to be like, oh yes, you guys are doing well. You have all this content coming up, and there's a lot of buzz around it. So we're gonna stay investing. You know?
Doesn't the site say spring or something? So that would be March at the soonest.
Yeah, it says spring, but even then, like, there's a couple of games on that list that I believe there's one that just doesn't have a release date at all. It just says that's coming out 2021. I believe the game is Humankind.
I think you mean Mankind, right?
No, it's called Humankind. It's literally called Humankind. But it just has like a 2021 release date, just like SMT5. And I think that including that on the thing is not a guarantee that we're going to get it that early. But what are your guys' thoughts?
In March, maybe April. It's usually when, like,
I remember
they release Persona 5.
Mm-hmm. Were you gonna say Glib? I don't know if you're talking now.
If I remember correctly, the quarterly report said like quarter one plus, so it kind of seemed to me like it was implying that it might come that time, but probably come later. Like,
I'm gonna reiterate what I said last episode. Quarter two,
when I saw it, didn't seem
2022.
like it was clearly saying that it was coming then.
Yeah, it has quarter two squiggly line, which is like estimated, approximate. So I don't know.
I'm just in the conservative estimate of 1 year after that, at least.
1 year. Yeah. With Corona delays, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm projecting end of next year. I don't think it's coming in spring at all. I think that it's a placeholder, and that you shouldn't read into this seriously because it's for investors.
Yeah, I mean, they're estimating if it's March, then that's like 6 months after Nocturne releases in Japan.
Yeah, and we still have to get the release date for RE Project Fantasy, which is probably going to be sometime next year as well. I would assume. I imagine we're going to get it.
Etrian Odyssey.
And Etrian Odyssey.
Etrian, yeah. They did mention that they would eventually be doing another project for that, so who knows? Yeah,
so I see Tokyo Game Show potentially having at least one of those as a announcement, like, oh yeah, you're getting another Etrian Odyssey game next year, and because all of these projects would be like close, they're probably going to space them out by a few months. And
Vanillaware is also working on a fantasy title.
Nice. Can't wait for that to get delayed again.
I mean, Vanillaware games take forever. It's just how it is.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know why was that in the Nocturne thing? Because I put it there. That's my mistake.
You idiot.
So anyway, going back to Nocturne, something really sad happened not too long ago where a bunch of people got their pre-order canceled via CD Japan only. apparently it was some sort of stock error, Spider. It was like
Yeah, it was a stock error. They thought they had more copies than they actually did, and they had to cancel a ton of people's orders.
Yeah, and I saw some Japanese people also saying they got theirs canceled, so it wasn't just Westerners.
No, it
But-
was just not everybody.
But I did see someone posting this like email screenshot where it said that they were prioritizing canceling Western pre-orders first, especially people who ordered multiple copies. And I feel like it was fake because if you're a company, it would be really dumb of you to say that.
Well, I mean, it's meant for the Japanese audience, so I could see them actually doing that there. But who knows?
But
I don't know.
Suffice to say, I'm never pre-ordering from CD Japan again.
Yeah, that's fair, to be honest.
But yeah, if you are listening and you didn't check your email, you should check your email. If you pre-order through CD Japan, literally no one that I know of who's pre-ordered through CD Japan still has their pre-order. Every single person I know and recommended that to, they all got refunded.
And you cannot order another one unless you get one of the super expensive DDS ones.
Yep. I saw that there's a couple websites there's one singular website that's English speaking that has pre-orders for it, but I'm keeping that URL in my back pocket just in case.
Just in case more cancellations are around the corner?
Yeah, literally that's why. I'm afraid that I'm going to get something canceled and I'm going to have to buy it again. The other thing that I think we almost touched on last week is our last time we podcasted is that Nocturne was selling like hotcakes. It was listed in the top 50. I believe it occupied 6 of the 10 top 10 spots, right? So
yeah, it was in the top 10 when it was selling, and it was in the top 50 for like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. I checked today because I was like, oh, I wonder if it's still there. They're probably all mad because of Dante DLC 2, I imagine.
Or maybe just enough people pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I think
mean, it's not like you can get the collector's edition anymore.
Yeah.
No more
and
night
they also
lights.
did that thing. So go ahead.
Said no more night lights.
Yeah, no more night lights. They did do this weird thing where I think last week they updated their buyer's guide to show a bunch of the collector's edition stuff, or not collector's edition, the pre-order bonuses from the different stores, which is irrelevant because now you can only buy the standard version of the game. And all the pre-order bonuses are like the wackest things in the world. It's like keychains to character, not keychains. It's
Yeah, what kind of hack would sell a
Microfiber
keychain?
cloths.
Yeah, microfiber cloths of Dante's face. Not Dante, Rido or and Demi-Fiend. A bunch of weird I keep saying keychains, but they're not keychains. They're like acrylic printed things. It's all bizarre merch that I don't think anyone would want normally. But if you pre-order through Japanese sites, you can get your hands on some really bizarre Megaten stuff. Wouldn't recommend it though. But yeah, I think that it's interesting that it was in the top 10 for its initial week, and then stayed in the top 50 for a bit, because I think that says a lot about the interest in Japan, at least.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I think it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Speaking of doing pretty well, Nintendo is doing 40% more or 400% more sales, which basically means that people are buying things because Corona. It's not unusual that they're doing well, because I think everyone's doing well, or any of these these thingies are doing well.
Big gaming companies.
Yeah.
Anyone in tech basically is doing well, or at least you should be.
So for I guess April 20th to June, April 1st to June 30th of this year, they made 358 billion yen. Don't know how much that is in real money, but I would imagine it's not too far off. So maybe just $300 billion.
More money than I'll ever have, that's for sure.
I mean, this podcast could blow up. You never know.
Yep, it's coming.
That's chump change.
Yeah, it's just a drop in the well. Nintendo makes money.
I wonder how much of that is
no,
Animal Crossing.
a lot.
Probably half of it.
Animal Crossing
Probably half of it. Yeah.
because all of the time that Nocturne was in the top 10 for Amazon, one of the games that was always in the top 10 and still is to this day, it occupies the number one spot, is Animal Crossing.
That game is wow.
I just can't understand it. Like, it's cool looking animals, and I guess it's fun to decorate. I guess.
I mean, I can confirm decorating is pretty fun.
Yeah, I like decorating. Just I don't know if I can do it in Animal Crossing though.
It got old pretty quick, in my opinion.
You can't even customize your pants.
Animal Crossing is a baby game. Just gonna put that out there.
I liked the
Real
one
man
for
play Harvest Moon.
3DS. I liked the 3DS one. I played it for a bit before I got tired. I played like 2 hours or 3 hours.
2 hours?
It's because
I mean, that's about as long as I
It's a
lasted too.
ringing endorsement.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of baby games, Persona 1 is the PSP version is getting a UI HD remaster project going. They're actually fairly far along. They're almost done. From what I saw, they're at the phase where all they want is for people to play with their, I don't know what it's called. Is that a hack, or what is that called? Mod. There you go. They want people to play with the mod, and then if there's any parts of the UI that's not HD, then just to let them know so they can fix it. It's really interesting because they mentioned they're not going to redraw anything. It's just to make everything as just better looking as possible, and it does look good. You could tell that they had problems with like matching fonts, but they're willing to change the font if you know what the original font is. So that's kind of nice as well. It's one of those interesting projects because I didn't think it was necessary till I saw the like GIF of the before and after of the text. I didn't realize it was so hazy looking, but it's good. It's cool. It's one of many of the like really interesting fan projects that are happening right now. The other Persona related fan project is CJ's Persona 2 Eternal Punishment PSP version translation project. He actually updated, I believe the first update was like over the weekend last week or something, and basically showing that he's proceeding, and it's got everyone excited again for it because they were stuck on something for a while, and now it seems like it's smooth sailing again. So we might get that before Persona 6 comes out. That'd
Maybe.
nice. Yeah,
that would be nice.
And then the last fan translation project it's happening for Persona is another Persona 2 thing. It's Persona 2 Innocent Sins World Guidance book. So for context, the World Guidance books are basically just like extraneous information about the games. It's not necessarily a guide of how to play the game. More like it talks about the settings, the inspiration for character designs, information about characters. Like that's where almost all the birthdays and stuff comes from, is guides like that. There's like a Devil Summoner one. There's a Persona 1 version as well. And yeah, this one's for Persona 2, Innocent Sin specifically. So if you're really interested in knowing what Lisa's favorite food is, or what Ikechi likes to do in his spare time, it's literally what they talk about in this book. So someone's working on that. They tapped into the Russian Megaten fan site where they kind of archived a bunch of old Megaten things via scanning it. So they're using those scans and they're translating it to English, and I think that's really interesting.
Good on the Russian fans for archiving all that.
Yeah, it's literally probably the most expansive archive that's online that I can find anyway. Yeah, and
It's a shame I can't read Russian.
No, they just scanned and archived the Japanese stuff. They didn't translate it or anything. It's just like books and whatever in Japanese, but scanned. Pretty cool.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is the second to last Persona. Oh, we got 2 more. Oh no. The Persona 4 Golden Steam is selling well. They released a statement basically saying that they're going to make more games. Literally, they made this statement like 4 times already, but they said it again more recently this time that they're going to port more games to more things. So they didn't specify specifically.
Just to make sure you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
beta version sold 1.5 million copies so far too.
Yeah, which I always think it's funny because people always go blah blah blah. Vita sucks. 1.5 million people who owned a Vita. Well, actually, no, that's not true because I bought Persona 4 Golden 3 times on the Vita. So some people, basically it sold well. I looked at the stats on Steam Spy. The Persona 4 G sold anywhere between 500 to 1 million copies already. So it's already like getting close. I think it's kind of topping or slowing down. I think it'll take like a Steam sale on Atlas stuff because the last couple Steam sales they didn't actually have Atlas games for cheaper. But if they actually put Persona 4 on sale, it'll sell well or sell more, I think.
Yeah, or a boost in news like announcing Scramble or something.
Yeah.
The Japanese have a very tenuous grasp on what a sale means. They really do not, especially digital stuff. They really don't know how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give you that because, dude, I barely pieced together that games in Japan not only are they more expensive, but when they go on sale, it's like $5 off.
Yeah,
imagine being like Persona 4 Dancing. You can get the brand new or the game from 2 years ago for $5 less. It's like cool. Like no wonder these games don't sell that. Like they don't have a long like a stable sell rate. They drop off really quickly after the first couple months.
Yep.
Persona 5 animation, I guess it's been showed off quite a bit this past week, and obviously people are just looking at how terrible the animation is, and a lot of people are praising or questioning the voice acting for the English dub.
I heard a couple of people mention they didn't like Xander's voice here as much as they did in the game, so I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see.
I've only seen a couple
Is
things.
it still $400?
No, it's only $300 actually, so it's not that bad.
Only $300.
Yeah, with that
That's
$300,
much better, Larrue.
with that $300, you can
order now, bro.
You can buy a PS4 Slim, and then you could buy a Persona 5 Royal, and you could just play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have
that $100. You're only $200 away from another copy.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
The most coveted animation in the world.
Like I'll give it to them. It was a tall order because Persona 5 has so much like obnoxious animation like built into it that if you try to copy it, it's gonna be hard. Like the finishing move thing. I don't remember what it's called, but the thing where Joker puts on his glove or Morgana swivels in his chair, like
all out attack. Yeah.
All out attack. Yeah, that's gonna like that stuff. I know was gonna be like a tall order, and they dropped the ball on it. So that set the precedent for how the animation quality is gonna be for everything else. And it's whatever. I think that people are nitpicking at times because you can tell that some of the like still images are because it's an in between frame or it's a really far away like character, so it doesn't look on model. But it's whatever. Don't buy the anime if you like not support it. I mean, if you don't want to support bad business practices, don't buy the anime because it's not a good investment in my opinion. Anyway, the last Persona news is Phantasy Star Online is getting yet another collab. This time it's called Persona Paradox, and it features Persona 3, 4, and 5.
And I looked into a bit of this. It started on the 12th, so it's almost over or over by now.
Yeah, it might be over.
One of the strange thing is like they have like a Jack Frost costume and almost all of the P5 characters except for the guys. Almost all of the P3 characters except for the guys.
I see a trend.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
And then P4 with just you, Teddy, Murray, and Chie, and that's it. So like P4 just has 4 characters. That's it. everyone else has a ton of the cast, and then there's people over here with just 4 characters.
I think they have the 3 worst characters from Persona 4 too.
Yeah. Well, Chia is popular, I guess, but the other two, well,
Please don't disrespect GA. Thank you very
I
much.
put them all in the same basket. They're all just as bad as each other.
one of the things I
Disgusting.
thought was cute is they have like these little they're called, what do they call it? Evo devices, and they're like little pets, kind of. They have functions
Yeah,
too.
they follow
But
you around and shoot
there's
stuff for you. Yeah.
there's Morgana and there's a Jack Frost. So those are pretty cute.
Oh, that's good. I remember playing Phantasy Star Online on the GameCube like a million years ago. That was a good game. But I had never tried PSO2.
It's exactly the same.
Really?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I think they got these models from Atlas or something, because that looks exactly like the Jack Frost from Persona 5. But the Teddy looks like a nightmare. It looks.
It looks like his aspect ratio is fucked up.
It said they used Persona 3, 4, the dancing games, and something else I forgot. 5, Persona 5, the most forgettable
the source.
Oh yeah, because you can wear the Persona 4 or the dancing Igus, and then you have like I don't know, the images they use to show off the different armors and stuff is so funny. Because like look, there's one where it's showing off Marie's bag, and the thing they use is a bikini. Like the character is wearing a bikini. Just
they know what they're doing.
It's so bizarre, but.
Yeah, the proportions look a little awkward on the clothing on the characters, but it's everything else looks nice, like the textures and that stuff.
That happens with MMOs. I think you could do this to a degree in PSO1. You could change your character size, or there were different models of different sizes.
So I think you can do that here too.
Yeah. You could make like a super tall robot with a gun. That was fun.
Yeah. So that's actually the most interesting Persona news to me. Some of it looks really cool. A lot of it looks bizarre, especially Teddy. Teddy like is supposed to be kind of like an egg, and this Teddy looks like an egg that got squeezed in the middle or something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with the aspect ratio. It looks like he's been like stretched vertically.
Yeah. And his legs are too long, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is nightmarish. Long leg Teddy. Someone photoshopped Teddy so his legs are like 3 feet long.
It's like that Jack Frost costume in Imagine. The one with the really long legs and the creepy floating head.
Oh, I don't like that.
Or that thing where you I don't know what triggers it, but where it's like Pikachu in Smash, but it's all distorted and long.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about something cool. Talk about DX2.
Yeah, let's talk about the only good Megaten game right now.
I mean, it's about to get better with all this because I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Let's start off with the boring stuff. New panels.
Hellbiker.
Yeah, he came out on top. He got some pretty good stuff, but no one else really got anything.
Hecatonkri I think was his panels were okay, I guess.
They're fine. He wants just more HP and resist. He doesn't really get a lot of that.
I'm pretty excited about Hellbiker. It's still useful, but now
I already have P3 Hellbiker.
Yeah, me too. I have to have 1 million saved up.
I don't have that many.
My gift box used to be $9.99 at all times. I think finally it's less than
that. Mine dropped from that to just 50 or so.
Yeah.
I gotta clear mine out. The yearly cleaning of the mailbox.
You gotta do it.
All a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Panels.
All the panels.
All the panels, they kind of suck. It's boring. Rakshasa got some good panels, but he sucks as a demon, so.
Yeah.
Whatever. But in better news,
they added Demon Iho.
Yep. It's a very strange journey fucking year where they added Maya and Demon Iho. She's in Strange Journey, isn't she?
Yeah, she's
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's in the Illusion World, right? Yeah, they're both Strange Journey themed demons. Demon Iho and Maya, I've never encountered them anywhere except in the special event thing where you fight them. You fight Demon Iho, but I have not seen either of them in PvP. I don't think anyone's gotten them. Because it's this part of the 2.5 anniversary content drop. There's been a lot of ways to spend gems. think people are running dry.
Yeah, I think people might want to hold off for the new update too.
Yes.
I think the update's over now. I think it's like the first thing after it.
It's September.
Yeah, it'll be in a week or two. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, actually.
Are you talking about the update they just announced?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Sword
So-
Fusion.
Yeah, it's supposed to drop in September.
Yep.
We're gonna get the update for it next week, I believe. The end of next week or something.
And there's a
but-
video everyone should go watch.
It's in 4 days from today. 27th,
Did you see
to be precise.
the amount of views on that video is pitiful, dude. Like I was like, is this all of this is all the people that play DX2 right now? Like is that all of it? Because it's literally
it's not
4,000 views.
They don't mobilize people like very well into the game. Like if you're playing a mobile game, you probably aren't checking for all the latest shit. And you're definitely not checking like the news section all the time. And there's no way in client to get to this video, I don't think, right?
I don't think it helps that Sega of America or Sega West or whatever we are doesn't advertise this at all, and neither does Atlas. It's just the Facebook.
That's true.
And you have to go. It's pretty difficult to go find the Facebook as well. And I don't even use Facebook.
And Facebook recently had an update, so it's even worse because now Facebook looks new for no reason, and you got to relearn it.
Yeah. And so actually now the most important part, so in this new update, DX2 is becoming a real Shin Megami Tensei game because you get to join your demons on the battlefield now. Because before you had a party of up to 4 demons and a support. And now in the special game mode thing they're doing, you're going to be out there fighting alongside your demons.
That's what they're implying by having the 3D model of the character, because that didn't happen before.
It's not
Yeah.
even implying. You can see in the video, it's like this party's like Horcus, Valkyrie, and some other guy, and then your main character out there.
And it's a new area too. I think it might be the Chaos Zone that we left off on with.
It
Chapter
definitely
6.
is.
Yeah, the cliffhanger for the latest story was about this alternate version of you coming back and fucking things up. So you might be going there, or this is their perspective, or I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
The thing to note is that
I figured this.
all right, I'm gonna say my thing because
Yes.
it's more important than whatever you're gonna say, Glib.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
thing to note is that they not only did they get new clothes, but the female version of the protagonist actually got a little bit of a tweak in her design, so it's not literally the same hair as the male protagonist. They've made it go kind of down a
That's
bit,
funny. Yeah.
so she actually looks like a different, like a just a more unique character, and looks better, significantly better. Not wearing a picnic tablecloth as a dress anymore, which is good because the
Yeah.
picnic tablecloth was really something.
And the male character doesn't look like Marty McFly anymore. So yeah.
I prefer the Marty McFly comparison because everyone else goes, "Oh, it looks like Junpei from 999."
He
What?
does. He looks like both of them.
But I think Junpei was supposed to be like a Marty McFly thing because of the plot in 999.
Yeah,
thought it was
probably.
I thought it was an intentional nod to it, so it's like a reference of a reference or something. I don't know. Point is, I think that's cool. Go ahead and say what you're going to say, Glib. You may speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I don't think this is a new story thing. I think this is the new mode they talked about before.
Yeah, it's Overbreak. Is what they are calling it in the Western version.
Yeah, but I think I'll have to do something with the story. It wouldn't make any sense if it was just like you're thrust up of nothing into this, ruined world where you're just killing stuff.
Let me read to you what it says. It says a new stage emerges, made out of all the possible futures. A new battle begins for your avatar in an already destroyed world. So that pretty much indicates it's probably going to be more story. New
Yeah,
features.
it may not necessarily be like a chapter 11 right now. Whoa, what's this going to be? But it'll be like there's some kind of justification story-wise, I'm sure.
Well, they are calling it like with a 3.0 update, aren't they? So it's pretty significant.
Maybe.
I would say.
Anyway, also, yeah, we mentioned Sword Fusion, didn't really go over it. So it looks like you're going to be able to do Sword Fusion, which is a cool mechanic they should do more, where you turn demons into better versions of weapons that you have, which your main character will be using out in the field, because we're now a real Shin Megami Tensei game. And so keep your copies. I think almost everyone has panels for 4
The
and
real
5
question
right now.
is, will it be permanent sacrifice or not?
For
Oh
sure.
yeah, for
I
sure.
would
It's
put
fusion.
money on it. Yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be. Well, I don't. You guys should be playing Rhino, so you know what I'm talking about. Where you can fuse demons with your sword to power it up.
They already had that in Soul Hackers, so we
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Rhino does it
So,
better. Rhino does it
no.
better. Rhino does it
No.
better.
Rhino's bad. That's a bad game.
No, it's. I mean, the gameplay's not great, but it's not a bad game.
I'm specifically saying that the sword fusion in Rhino is better than the sword fusion in Soul Hackers. But I'm not gonna tell you why, because then you guys are gonna figure out how to make the game a lot easier. I want you
I'm
to
already
going to look it
figured
up
it out.
anyway, so
imagine looking it up. What kind of coward?
I haven't
needs
even
a guy?
reached that point. I'm still in chapter 2 because I start the game for 5 minutes and then I go, oh, geez, I'm playing Rhino. Then I do something more
Same,
fun
to be
instead.
honest.
I'm on
Yeah,
chapter
This game
6
is so
now.
boring, bro.
it's incredibly slow for me.
I'm
like,
on
really like
chapter
the
4.
Put it in the
story.
garbage.
I really like the story and characters and stuff. But this is not the spoiler cast, so shut up.
Yeah, anyway, it's a bad game. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to this podcast either.
I was watching, or no, I was on the D2 Discord, and I remember someone mentioned that you might be able to use like the Kusanagi swords for something to do with this new mode. I guess like leveling up the swords or shields or whatever.
Yeah, I think that it's
So-
gonna have different swords and stuff, and it's gonna be like Rhino, where when you fuse different demons to your sword, it changes the sword to be a different sword, basically.
No, I meant the swords
What?
that Kusanagi used
Yeah,
to
no,
level up
Swords
the
of Kus-
demons.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now.
So maybe hoard those until we know what's going to happen with those.
is that like a stupid rumor though? Because I don't see any reason for that to be the case.
I don't think it's
the person who was talking, I only saw it in passing because I accidentally clicked on the Discord. But
We all do.
yeah, I know I should keep up more, but I don't. Is that it was in a developer interview where they were talking about the swords of Kusanagi or having another use or something.
Okay, so that does. It's still a rumor, but slightly more substantiated.
Yeah, I'd have to go find it.
Yeah, they better find out front of these Shumaka because I have almost $1 billion at this point, and I have literally nothing to spend it on.
Yeah, same here. It's just sitting there with no use.
They should let us
this-
trade Maka for Magnetite, for real.
No, that would. I guess at this point it wouldn't be too harmful, but they're not incentivized to do that because they still sell ways to gain magnetite. You know.
Yeah.
But if they did like a monthly limited thing, maybe that would be okay. I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
I could see them doing something like that potentially, but the problem is there's a lot of other resources that are underutilized, like money and basically just money and all the gems and stuff. So I could see those things being used for fusion over the sword things, but you should be hoarding all those anyways because you don't need the sword thing ever. Like you never need to use those, so don't use them.
Yeah, I have a ton of those. I have a ton of like every resource. I just don't really use anything.
Yeah.
Except magnetite. I always need more magnetite.
Now let's pivot back into some bad
Bad games,
news.
yeah.
So, Etrian Odyssey Mystery Dungeon was removed from the US eShop not too long ago and the Japanese eShop, and now it's going to be gone from the EU eShop, which doesn't really matter in my opinion because you can buy that game in PAL regions for $8, a physical copy for $8. Whereas if you were living the US, you have to pay $40 to buy like that old game.
Ew.
I thought it was interesting. They removed it from the Atlas website too.
Yeah,
For America?
Bizarre. Yeah, that specifically is bizarre.
They're losing rights to it or something? What is going on? That's very weird.
Maybe because it's Mystery Dungeon. Who knows?
Who does Mystery Dungeon? I thought it was Atlas.
I know there's a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I think, wasn't there?
Glib, you know
Yeah, there
things
was.
about
Oh, it's owned by Natsume because they do all the Sheeran games too. It's the same company that's all of them.
Ugh.
Right. So it's like a rights thing. They don't have the right to the Mystery Dungeon name or whatever. So they gotta probably decide to stop paying whatever they need. Let's continue.
Yeah. So that sucks. Mystery Dungeon, Etrian Haven't played it, but I've seen gameplay. It looks good. Most mystery dungeon games are good. Natsume is evil, apparently. So
Yep.
I like the game myself, but I've heard a lot of bad things about it from people not me. So
yeah,
So
but
bad,
that's the thing about that is whenever people talk about any game, I just assume they're wrong. Just look at all the misinformation for Megami Tensei. While I play, because I've been playing Raito on stream, so you can physically watch me play, and people are like, "Is this game as boring as people say?" It looks like it's boring, and I'm like, why would you say that? I'm playing this game right now, and I'm saying it's funny or I'm having fun playing it. Why would you ask me that? Like when I can you can visually see me react by laughing at a funny scene, which I don't normally do with Megaten. Megaten is never funny to me, but there's some scenes in Raito where I'm just like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of like just either really dry humor or just really ridiculous.
Yeah, and it actually is done well in my opinion. I seldom ever find Megaten funny, and I was surprised that I actually laughed, especially in chapter 4. There's some scenes that are just ridiculous. The only ones that don't make me laugh are the ones where it's like over the top Tay being like, "Oh, Narumi, help me!" Like it's not funny to me. It's annoying.
In that opening montage where her like character trait is she trips and falls, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not the most graceful creature in the world.
All those words.
Very cool. Actually, you know what? It did make me laugh. Soul Hackers, a lot of the negotiation stuff was actually very funny.
Yeah,
that was.
They really nailed it. And no, Romero, that's good shit in it. That was funny.
Snappy the dolphin.
Yeah. Kind of creepy, but also, yeah, it's funny.
Now that you mention it, Soul Hackers did have a lot of comedy. It didn't always make me laugh, but there were parts that I was like, oh, that's actually funny.
It had the most consistent comedy tone, in my opinion, for like how abrupt the demons react to things and the one-liners they had.
Yeah, I want to spoil this one thing in Raito because I know Spider doesn't care, and by virtue of that means none of you guys care.
I don't care about Raito.
There's a part where you have to talk to a demon to progress the story, and you have to basically just negotiate. And I went through every single negotiation thing, assuming that the demon wanted to be praised for being intelligent, but the correct answer is to tell him that he's stupid, and then he's like, "Yep, you're right. Good call, good guess." And then he let you proceed, and I was like, "This is so funny because every time you don't do that, he just takes a lot of stuff from you. He takes a lot of mag, he takes a lot of maca." And I was like, why is this happening? And then
it's because he thinks you're dumber than him.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. And I was like, this is so funny. It's actually clever. It made me laugh. So
it's not funny at all.
It's funny because you generally assume that demons want to be praised. Like
theft is never funny, in my opinion.
Sorry, Neb. I'm sorry that you were born without a funny bone. I know you're from the East Coast, so that's not where people laugh. But anyway,
that's because we're not fake.
Speaking of other bad things, the Catherine manga, it's called Story of K. It's ending. It's our sides. I think it's called Side Story of K. Actually, it's basically Catherine's plot, but told through the perspective of Catherine with a K. And it's ending. I don't think it's actually going to be finishing. It's going to just be canceled.
It's canceled? Oh,
my understanding was it was being canceled, but yeah, this is what their statement is. The serialization of Catherine's full body side story of K will be terminated due to certain circumstances.
I mean, I'm not surprised with how Catherine sold, especially full body on Switch.
Yeah, and I don't really understand what they mean because it doesn't like terminated due to certain circumstances. I guess a more understandable sentiment would be something like, due to unforeseen circumstances, maybe.
It could be coronavirus, it could be sales, it could be just about anything.
Yeah, but it's like very vague. So it could be any number of those things, and it's unfortunate. But it's going to be available on the web until it's already gone. It was available till the 17th of this month. Now it's gone forever. I hope someone archived it because I hate Megaten Lost Media, and there's a lot of it, and that's probably one of them now.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but in lighter news, Devil Children manga is being translated. Spider said that.
Oh, that's Glib.
Glib said that. Glib
I
talked.
did say it. It's being done by Gombiden translation team. I think they did a couple of stuff too. I forget what though.
Yeah, they did the Raido manga, which they finished 2 days ago.
And they did the SMT for anthology manga last month.
Did they also do not Walter, the other guy story?
I don't
Prayers?
remember who did that one.
Jonathan?
It's been a while since I read it.
Probably them.
I
Prayers
thought
sucks.
they're a new team.
They seem like they're fairly new. The person that leads that group, Gomiden, is someone called Peppermint Grinder, and basically they've been covering a lot of stuff. They actually started doing Death to Mint, which is the Strange Journey manga that I was supposed to finish scanning that I never finished. So I guess they got their hands on it somehow, so they're working on that. They started that project 2 days ago.
Probably because the scans are already online on the online bookstores.
Yeah, Bookwalker stuff. Yeah, because I think it was I don't know. Yeah, but they're online already, so it's not like it's hard to do. It's just tedious because you have to like save the file. I had to use this dumb program to rip the files while I was looking at them, and it took forever. And it doesn't save them correctly, so you have to like redo the saving, rename them. And yeah, I just didn't have time for that. But they did, yeah, like you said, the Nocturne anthology. They did Raido. Basically, they're the ones that are responsible for all the recent fan translations, or a good majority of them.
Yeah, like the Death to Mint one was, there was 2 chapters like 2 years ago or something, and there's been silence since then.
But they just finished chapter 3.
Oh wow, nice.
Yesterday, so that's and yeah, they started Devil Children 3 hours ago.
3 hours ago.
And Persona 5 anthology comic 2 days ago. So they're really just pumping these out, and I just can't believe it. It's so fast. I actually kind of want to get in contact with Peppermint Grinder because I don't know how they're able to, like, how big their team is for them to be doing that much content so quickly. But it's cool. It's a cool thing that's been happening. Hopefully they're doing the good Devil Children manga, not the second one, because the second one sucks. It's like a funny comedy version of Law or Light and Dark book, but that's the bad one. The other one's the gritty one where the main character gets his arm ripped off. He has to kill like a bunch of other kids. It's cool.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You idiot.
Well, if you played the game, you'd know that he gets his arm ripped off.
Why would we ever play Devil Children?
It's a reference to Megami Tensei 2.
How expensive is that game right now? $100 like everything else?
No, actually, surprisingly, Devil Children is not getting hit as hard. Demi Kids is ridiculous, like $500 for Demi Kids.
Jeez.
Which that's a timeline that like I can't believe we're in. But I don't know. Are any of you guys collecting things right now? I think Glib is collecting figures, right?
Nope, I'm not collecting anything right now.
Yeah, I have. I think the sets I mentioned before. I have Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael. I bought a SMT9 Maria a while ago and a Furyu Lucifer price figure.
Nice. Well, you said prize figure?
I want more stuff, but you know.
Oh, prize figure. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
I am interested in getting that Levi Jack Frost though. That thing's nice.
It's literally the best Jack Frost. I still can't get over how like good the proportions are. The only thing I think is weird is the hands.
The hands are kind of noodly looking.
Yeah. Gaps.
I want to buy the gigantic Jack Frost, but that thing costs like $400.
No, I've seen some for $300 and $250 if you just buy the dumb glow in the dark version.
I don't want to glow in the dark version. Oh my god!
It's like one Persona 5 the animation.
Yeah. Except it's a better value because at least the Jack Frost will make you happy.
True.
The last comic related thing is Igus Rim is getting an anthology comic, and it's coming out September 10th. I think it's going to be like 130 pages, if I remember correctly.
I wonder if this is the little comics they were posting on the Twitter a while back.
I think it's going to be, or at least that's maybe like a sample.
A sample of it. Like, there's a lot of yakisoba bread jokes. A lot of yakisoba bread jokes.
I don't know. They just want to get that bread.
Yeah, it's the new pancake joke.
I hope not. That's the most. Oh no.
Do you eat pancakes?
Does anybody say delicious pancake?
Do you guys like pancakes? What do you think about pancakes?
I eat pancakes every day too. Protein pancakes, and
Wow. You're just like him. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just like Ikachi.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
So
overpriced
the last
cosplay.
two things. Yeah, I it's funny because I used to defend Cospatio or Cospa. Really, they're the company that basically they get licensed games that are popular in Japan and they make official high quality cosplays for them. And usually the price is pretty decent. They had like a leather jacket for Tatsuya for Eternal Punishment. It was nice. It was original price was about $130, but it's actual leather and it was true to the design in the game. They did the Shin Megami Tensei If uniform. It was also about $130. So that's kind of like the base price. Like I want you guys to kind of think about it. It's basically if you wanted to cosplay a Megaten character, and Cospa did the outfit, it would be about $130 for the full cosplay. However, they announced Igus Rim's official high-end cosplay, and I gotta say, it's ugly. The materials don't match the style of that they look like in the game.
Neither does the color.
Neither is the color, and it's really, really basic looking. It's a Sailor Fuku. Fuku, that's the word for it,
right? No, I don't think so.
Wrong.
I'm a Google it right now. Sailor Fuku.
It's Sailor Suit.
I'm saying Fuku.
Go.
No, I looked
trying
up
to be
Fuku.
Japanese.
I looked up Fuku and it's showing up. I looked it up. Fuku just means what? Outfit, right?
Fuku, yeah.
Oh my god, I hate this. Can we just talk about how shitty this is?
So if you want the dumb blouse, the top part, it's $240. If you want just the skirt, it's $130. It's just so dumb. I don't like the idea that what's the market for this? Usually it's a cosplay that you can't recreate easily, but this literally looks like something you'd look at eBay and you pay like $50 for it because how basic and off it looks.
Yeah, I'm not like an expert, but this looks very cheaply made as well.
Yeah, it's really bad, and it's one part of it is because the outfit in the game is not that like detailed, so there's nothing really unique about it. It won't translate to a unique looking uniform, but also it just looks bad.
And the design of those leggings are totally different.
Yep.
Look at that.
So if you want to cosplay, Igus Rim female character because they didn't release the male uniforms because I think there's a couple different ones. That's why. Yeah, it's gonna cost you like more than $300. You could literally buy Persona 5 animation and it would be a better investment than this cosplay.
Putting on a sliding scale.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't worth it, but now in comparison to this, it's like all right.
Yeah, things in the same ballpark. The Jack Frost figure is worth it. This is not worth it. Persona 5 is in the middle. And then the other thing that they announced is an Igus Rim Nendoroid. I think we talked about this last week, where they have this questionable pose that she does because she's already a little kid in the game, but she's also like she's a chibi. It's even worse. She lifts up her skirt and there's a start. The word "start" is on her like upper thigh. It's hard. I don't know. I think it's walking that line of, it's like sexualization almost. It's disgusting.
I mean, it is, but whatever. It's That's Vanillaware.
Yeah, but it would be fine if it wasn't an Nendoroid. If it was like a Figma or something where it's just like that, like the regular proportions, it wouldn't be so disturbing. But since Nendoroids are like chibi and it basically, for all intents and purposes, looks like a kindergartner, it just makes it worse.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's it for all the news. Do you guys have anything else that I didn't bring up or that we didn't talk about?
Sega hiring a new PR manager.
Oh,
I saw you posting some sappy stuff on Twitter, so
wow.
Get out.
First of all, it's not a PR thing. It's a social media community management position.
okay,
Second of all,
yeah.
it's not sappy, it's shilling. There's a completely different thing.
Wow. I give you a vote and you just completely just toss it in my face, huh?
If you
Calling
get it, please get us
sappy
gems.
is demeaning.
I mean, it was supposed to be demeaning.
Like, ever since I found out you like mushrooms, it just feels like you're just like a bully.
Really, you're just realizing this now.
But more, it's like something about talking about mushrooms that's triggered this really negative side of you that I don't know if I like.
What is going on? What is this meme? I don't understand.
Yeah, why did you bring up mushrooms? I'm still confused on that.
He's a picky eater, and he got.
I'm not a picky eater. I eat normal. You're out here
I thought you were talking about drugs the whole time.
This is a spider's modus operandi for consuming food. Is it cheap, and is it decent? That's Spider in a nutshell.
That seems pragmatic.
And mine is it cheap? Is it delicious? It has to be delicious. It can't be just mediocre.
Scrambled eggs aren't delicious.
You stupid? Why would you make every meal you have delicious?
Because I'm smart. Why would you?
No, you're a hedonistic wastrel. I hope you get consumed in the fires of your homeland.
Point is, Spider doesn't like scrambled eggs. Spider consumes mushrooms. So both things are pretty negative marks. I used to say stuff like Spider is one of the smartest people I know, and now I can't say that anymore.
Okay, soft-boiled egg hater.
You need to stop having an East Coast moment and just fire up a nice portobello sandwich.
Oh God, you're one of them too.
That sounds pretty good.
That is good. I love that. Yeah. First question is for Larrue. Why do you hate good food? That's weird. I don't know why. Why that's the first one.
If you like mushrooms, you're probably like a serial killer. There's a direct correlation with people who like mushrooms and serial massacres. Just saying.
I don't believe that at all. I think you're making that up.
Questions.
Okay. I see a couple that we've already gotten before. Someone asked Navi, Yami Navi asked opinions from Jack Bros. We already recorded that episode. I love how chastise this man.
I love that your scream is like angry mother while you're in a grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to look abusive, so you're like
I want to blow at everyone's goddamn earphones with my actual yell. But I still want to be abusive, yes. We did record a spoiler cast on Jack Bros and Synchronicity Prologue, so go ahead and check that out if you would like to hear more. I think we liked both of them in general. I think I was annoyed with
Game kind of
Bros.
Sucks.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying.
We're not going to discuss it in detail because you got to watch the podcast. That's
exactly, yeah. You have to pay all your money to YouTube ads or whatever. I don't know, however it works.
Yeah.
In fact, watch it 5 times. Give us the views.
Tell all your friends to watch us talk about obscure Japanese games nobody likes.
It's on Spotify and iTunes and Google Podcasts or whatever. So go ahead.
Yep,
Google Podcasts. What is
my
that?
favorite app.
What is it called? Google Podcasts? I just know that it goes onto Google somehow.
Talk about obscure.
Probably Google Play. I think they have a podcast section. Anyway, already sort of got that before. Oh, here's one. Emoyo at Hellish Plate says, what is the weirdest Megaten merch you own?
Spider, it's nothing.
Okay.
Well, I have a pin that you made, and you put the art on the wrong side, so it all chipped off.
Wait, you have one of my pins?
Yes, I do. I showed it to you before, and I complained about the art being on the wrong side.
Like it's on the inside of the pin section where the curve. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like
I
curved.
think it was the ones where I was doing the shrinky dink type stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right,
Yeah.
the art is on the outside, and it's attached to the pin part is attached to the clear acrylic side. So it's just wide open to the elements, and it's covered in like pencil, like colored pencil, because it was in my purse. It's completely demolished.
That is a pretty weird piece of merch.
Which character was it again?
Jack Frost, of course.
Okay, that's funny. And that's not weird. That's beautiful. That's hard.
It's not beautiful anymore.
Well, at least I know that it doesn't last long. Probably lasted like a couple of weeks.
No, it lasted like a year.
Nice.
And then, the pin fell out and it fell in my purse.
Glib, what about you? It's all your angels, huh? Weirdo.
Nothing really weird, but one thing I really don't like is that my Uriel statue, like the pedestal thing it has, it's not even. So like when I stand it up, it keeps falling over, and I really hate that.
Sounds like you got
I actually have like tape down, to be honest.
I try to repair it. Get some glue or something.
I use 2-sided tape.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Good, smart. What about you, Neb?
I don't know. None of it's weird. I guess weirdest if you're talking about the average person, just anyone. If they saw the Satan statue I have, they'd probably be upset. It's the one with all the tits and it's like gigantic.
That one's nice looking.
Yeah, it looks cool, but it's a little disturbing maybe for.
Does yours have any broken wings? It's like
Yeah. I think maybe
Really?
we talked about it one time. It got a little chipped up because like it comes in this big box, but it's affixed with like 2 plastic ties.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
But it's like a very thick, heavy statue, so it like rams around inside the fucking. Luckily, all the arms are fine. I think I had to like wood glue one of the arms or super glue like into the slot because like the thing was kind of not fitting in properly. But yeah, other than that, that's probably the only one. I don't own any bizarre stuff.
I have a bunch of bizarre things. I don't really know what to say because I have too many things that are weird.
Well, pick the one that's the weirdest.
It depends on your definition of weird.
Okay, weird is in unsettling looking.
Unsettling looking? I don't know. I have a couple of Demikid stuff that's children's toys, so that's kind of weird. Like, it's a gun that shoots out little demon pogs. That's kind of weird.
That is very weird.
Don't lie. All your merch is children's toys.
Huh?
All your merch is children's toys.
Oh, I have wine. That's not for children. Stupid.
Made for Catholic children.
Look
Got you there.
Let's see what's going on.
I don't know. I guess that or the masks I have are pretty weird.
Oh yeah, the Stalker Club masks, like the Bugaboo and the Metatron. Yeah, those are funny looking.
But I like the, what is it, Arabaki? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Her name?
That's a her?
Yes.
Oh.
The fertility goddess.
That's probably one of the entries in the demon compendium that I never read. So
I haven't read it either. I just know it from something else.
I thought you were talking about Alalat, because Alalat is a fertility goddess.
Yeah, she is too.
Titty pillar.
Yeah, you just got a blank genome from killing Demonio.
Don't game while we're podcasting, please.
Glib is having conversations in another server while we're podcasting.
I'm playing DX2 also.
God damn it.
I'm answering DMs.
Yeah.
I'm concentrating.
Jeez.
All right, well, next question. I think we already answered this stuff. Oh, here we go. Here's one for. I lost it. It's about some news about Larrue, a lifestyle change.
What?
something new for you. Larrue, now that you're getting a Switch, are there any games that you plan on getting other than SMT5? The Norman on YouTube asks you this.
I think I answered this question on YouTube actually. Let me just pull up my answer because I don't remember what I said.
No.
It's because when I got my Switch, it came yesterday actually. It says arriving October, but then I got an email from Amazon on Monday that was like, "Oh, we've updated your order. It's arriving on Friday." I'm like, "Cool." Then it took the money out then because I was like, "Why?" Because I've always known Amazon to like just take your money as soon as you order something, unless it's a pre-order. But then they didn't take my money out until they updated the release or the shipping date. But yeah, it arrived on Friday, and because I knew that I was getting it, I had to like look up what games I would buy to justify the order. And the games I chose were Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Yokai Watch 4, Fire Emblem's 3 Houses, Link's Awakening remake, Taiko no Tatsujin, which is the Taiko Master.
The drums, yeah.
Yeah. And Cadence of Hyrule. The problem with I found with Switch is that it only has like 30 exclusives. It's like 2 years of being out, and of those 30 exclusives, like 1 or 2 of them are good, are things that I'm like, oh, I kind of want to try that. It's like I'm not interested in Sword and Shield, but I'm interested in Let's Go Pikachu because it just looks like dumb fun. 3 Houses I only kind of want to get just because I want to see if it's better than just the other new Fire Emblem games that I tried that I didn't like from the 3DS era. Hopefully it's better. And the Taiko Master I think is going to be good just because I have played some rhythm games on the Switch, and that's one of the only games that I could imagine being a lot more fun, because the last time that Taiko Master was really fun to play at home was on the PST when it had the drum peripheral. So pretty excited. That's like I'm more excited for that than I am for SMT5.
Whoa.
Wow.
I love rhythm games, but I specifically love drumming rhythm games, and I just have this feeling that Taiko Master on the Switch is going to be very, very fun.
We try to play the SMT5 song on there.
Yeah, I could. That'd be kind of funny too. But yeah, there's like nothing for the Switch that I am super interested in. Is the short answer.
Kind of late, but I thought that Link's
$300
Awakening was a really cool game. But the lag on Switch is so bad, bro. Like I really hate that part.
Yeah, I love the story.
Why is a 10-year-old game lagging, bro? A 10-year-old Game Boy game at that. Like, what is
You're
this?
playing on a cell phone.
Yeah, I could. The crazy thing is that I feel like it's embarrassing that first party titles would be so terrible. It's not hard to make a good game. I mean, I imagine just like it's not hard to make good breakfast with scrambled eggs. No mushrooms.
Where's your game at then, LaRue? Where is it at?
I've made a game before actually. It's on Newgrounds. So just
Anime A and B.
Don't get slick. You aren't smooth with me.
Last time I checked, it got it had a 4.5 out of like 5, and it had like 4,000 votes. So 4,000 people liked my game. How many people like your game, Glib?
All of them, because I'm perfect.
Sorry, I'm getting mean because I'm getting tired again.
Oh, we're almost done with the podcast here.
Yeah, a couple more questions. Xyleth X3N0, that's a hard name to read, on YouTube asks, if you were to have a demon summoning app on your phone, who would you summon first? Glib.
What was the question again?
What? I just said it. Are you on drugs?
I couldn't hear the last part.
You didn't end it with saying based or Kino.
They didn't hear it.
I didn't start off by saying TBH. This is cringe, fam, but cringe
The last
Ladooni.
part cut out. I didn't hear it.
Y'all. If you were to have a demon summoning
I'm good
app
with attack.
on your phone, who would you summon first?
I'll
Glib.
answer this.
I'm going first now. I don't
you're
know,
first.
like whatever angel comes out, bro. I don't care. Probably
Whatever
like
angel.
Holy Ghost.
the
That's
first
base, isn't
angel?
There we go. That's the word.
That's a good answer.
TBH literally based.
For me, I would want utility, but also cuteness. So I'd probably summon Black Frost. Then I would be able to have heat whenever I want and cold temperatures whenever I want. And he's adorable. So, and he's big too. So I would be able to like win fights in school or whatever. Not that I go to school. I don't know why I said that.
What do you go to
Wouldn't
an
it be
element?
like 3 times your size?
Yeah. Well, let's see. If
Like as a grown man too.
Jack Frost is 4'11". Black Frost can hold a Jack Frost in his hand, so he can hold a Glib-sized person in his hand.
Hello?
So
Jack Frost is 5'9".
He's 4'11" according to Snowboard Kids. So, yeah, I think that he'd be big. He'd stay in my garage. No, he'd just stand in the backyard, I guess.
He is not fitting your garage. He is not fitting there.
It's a 2-car garage.
He is not
Gonna
fitting
lay
in there.
down
Yes, you can crawl in.
all
You
over
guys,
through.
you guys are underestimating the ingenuity of B. Frost.
I'm
Who'd
calling
you
Peter
summon?
on you
Yeah,
for
who'd
locking
you
him in
summon?
your garage.
Me, or just Spider?
Oh, if Spider has her answer, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like on Meraki for some onion and chicken in her.
That sounds delicious. She
And
just
then
said
maybe
that.
like a Chernobog for some mushrooms on top.
Oh my god!
Summoning demons to slaughter them for food is an
I
interesting idea.
can't believe you, man. Oh god!
I have the most pragmatic answer. I would summon a very low level demon first. First, keyword.
Pixie.
Because I don't know what level I am. You know, I don't know if I need magnetite. And I want something that I can beat the shit out of if I need to. It rebels against me. So I'd do like a slime or something.
Do you think that
To get
over?
that in. I don't know what
Don't you
level I am.
remember that in Strange Journey, slimes kill people too, though? It could still kill
Okay.
you.
So SMT 2, I think it is. Is that the one where he plays Hawk? That's the gladiator at the beginning.
Yeah, left.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, he starts off as whatever else his name is. He's a pit fighter. He murders people for a living, but when you start off, you're level 1, and you can't like do a bunch of shit in the demon world that you normally would want to.
That's true.
You know? So that's
I'm
what I'm
doing
saying. The story just started. Just got demon summoning up. Maybe I'm level 1. Even though I'm a baller, maybe I'm level 1. I don't know.
That's a good idea because I'd probably end up getting eaten by those demons.
Actually, no, I'm
You get
rocking
murdered by
like
Nestima.
17 or lower, isn't it? Like it's pretty entry level demon. For doing that, then I would, if it has to be logical, then I would have to summon. Dang, what's a good low level demon? I guess Pixie, because then I got free heals.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you really started the game.
Yeah. Although, yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna finish that. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay. I guess we'll do like 2 more.
2. There's a pretty good amount of questions that are decent.
Okay, well, you said you were falling asleep. I'm just saying. I can do more. Let's do a dumb one. Liz Tuned at Pretender Please on Twitter writes in asking, why is Raido literally the perfect human?
He's not. That's why when you die, everyone is easily, all your ancestors shame you and then kill you.
Yeah, that's probably because he's wearing a hat. He's got to hide that shame.
Yep.
He's balding. He's like 18 and balding.
Yeah, Raido sucks. Like,
Yeah, he's bad. He's in at least 1 very bad game. He might be in 2. We haven't played the second one yet, or I haven't rather.
in complete honesty, I find his character he doesn't have a personality as much. It's more like he's just super polite and weird. It's not a good. That's like Glib. Like why? Like Glib as a protagonist. I like charismatic characters.
What does that even mean?
What? I'm saying that
Hello?
of this group, you're the closest to being Raido, and it's not a good thing.
You're part of the podcast, Glib.
Yeah, you're the Raido.
Again, what does that even mean?
You know what it means. Like Neb is
I have
like
no
popular
clue.
Dante, $10 DLC.
Oh, yeah. Expensive.
Spiders, Chernobog. Yeah. No, but I imagine that like Ryder would be annoying because so far anytime he's given a personality trait, like even in Soul Hackers, he's kind of irritating. He's a little like do-goody guy. Like you want to shove into a lock. Annoying.
I mean, he's not always do-goody. He like in a couple places in my game, he stole some stuff from a store.
Maybe I just haven't done enough action. I literally just do the story, so I don't know what else.
Yeah.
I should probably do that. But yeah, that's your answer. He's not the perfect human. Especially because he's not real. And that's one of the main requirements to be a perfect human is to actually be real.
Dang, maybe he is me.
He's not real.
Yeah, he's not real, just like you.
He's perfect, just like me.
No, we're going to go with not real and bolding. Okay, so next up, Martin S. at Hentai Shitpost 1 writes in asking, what do you think is the worst mechanic in all of SMT?
Dating sim.
That's one I don't like. So I don't know if it's the worst, but it is one I actively do not like.
He does have the S, so I assume he's going for mainline, but we can
go for mainline. I don't have any complaints, really.
This isn't the worst, but I find press turn really annoying now. Every time I talk about combat in this series, someone goes, press turn, press turn, press turn. Like, bro, shut up. I do not care about press turn.
Yeah, press turn is overrated. It's done better in Strange Journey anyways. The best press turn is done in a gacha game on the phone. So
PX2 is very good. Although Pierce is, it's sort of unrelated to press turn, I guess, but Pierce
that's the worst. Pierce is the worst mechanic. I hate that. Pierce is the worst.
Yeah, but then if you have null everything, it's like the whole resistance system could use a little something.
I think Smirk is the worst thing I can think of for mainline that I don't like. I hate Smirks.
I don't like Smirk either.
Smirk is busted, but I thought it was really fun to me. So
they were like, here's the way to deal with it in Apocalypse. There's a debuff that removes Smirk, and it's like that doesn't
go on or whatever.
Cost a turn to do, yeah. Like this is stupid.
No, I didn't like it. Smirk's dumb.
I liked it because it made fights faster, and the enemies like almost never got it, so I didn't really mind. But yeah, if it wasn't there, it'd be a better game probably.
I don't like that the enemies don't get it very often. It's always the player that gets it, so you're always just way ahead of everything else.
Yeah, 100% of the time. He's a shit-eating grin. He's like,
oh, I got one too. The randomized partners in 4 and 4A. I hate those also.
Oh yeah,
I just don't like partners at all.
Yeah, partners and
I like the partners in the old games. I like actually.
In Apocalypse, it's okay though because you can sort of like get an idea of what the guy's gonna do.
Yeah, I like the partners in the old game where they're part of your party and not just like an AI that's there to babysit you.
Yeah, I don't like partners at 4 at all. That blows because it doesn't affect your press turns and shit.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Like how Walter can give a Minotaur a smirk.
Yeah.
Literally all the things that you guys are saying you don't like are the things that are kind of recent things that are just coddling the player. They just coddle the player. Yeah. I don't like anything that does that. You should be able to play the game, and the game should allow you to think or give you the opportunity to make decisions yourself.
For an old one, it's the digging the holes through the moon faces and if.
That's a really good one. I didn't even think about that.
Why not just if as an entire game is a bad mechanic?
Not everything about if is bad. It's just
yeah, because Guardians is a cool idea. I actually would like them to do that again because it's a cool way.
They should run that back somehow. Make it more like much less more intuitive somehow. Maybe explain how it fucking works and that there's secret ones and stuff like that.
They'd have to add like some more mechanics to me because it was like very bare bones in F.
Yeah. Obviously revamp it, but the core idea is kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, one more mechanic too is one more mechanic I don't like is save anywhere.
Yep, save anywhere is dumb. If you like, it should be a thing that's locked to difficulty. If you're playing on normal or hard, it should not have save anywhere. But if it's easy mode, then yeah, you should be able to save wherever.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Save anywhere that's good is the one that's like suspend save, and you save at least save after you load it again.
I'm fine with save anywhere because I have a limited amount of time in my life.
Baby.
And if I die in a boss fight, I don't have to walk all the way through and then
That's what suspense save is for.
do a cutscene. Da-da-da.
Glib, you're assuming that that Neb knows anything about that.
I don't know what that means. I don't care.
No,
Let me save anywhere.
I don't like save anywhere. I think that it's good for players who are not used to the systems, or like you, players who maybe don't have time to play. But I think that for the most part, mainline games are meant to be played in short bursts. That's what it feels like. So I
don't think any of these 60-hour games are meant to be in marathon.
Yeah. But yeah. Next question.
Okay. Yeah, some of these are kind of bad. Oh, here's one. I guess it's supposed to be Matagun at Dorcas83. He's written it a couple times. How did you fellow Megatennists meet?
Um,
Right?
I
have no idea.
Sorry.
Which we've all been kicked out of at this point, I think.
Sorry. I mean, we all basically just met on our Discord server.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get banned from there, but I left because, our Megaten.
Yeah. That's how we met. Our Megaten Discord server. And then when Neb left because they're like kicking him randomly as a joke that
he XB kicked, and then he got kicked.
I thought he asked to be kicked sarcastically, and then they just literally did it, and then he.
The first time I left, someone changed my
leave.
color, and I said, "You change it back, or I'm leaving." And then there's like a groundswell of popular support to bring me back, and so I returned. And then the second time, I disagreed with an administrator, and I was like, "You're wrong," or something. And then he basically he was like, "I'm gonna kick you if you keep disagreeing with me." And I was like, "Do it." So it was like that, where I wasn't like goading people out of nothing. I was like, "Fucking do it. I don't care. You're gonna threaten me with mod powers, you fucking nerd." I hope you're listening, by the way.
Probably this is
True chaos end.
And then I remember. The funny thing is, I remember like at first interacting with Neb. He was like one of the people that was more mature. Like he would shit post, but it wasn't like low quality. And funny. And then I remember Spider because I literally our first conversation was about rock hounding, like, and Spider knew a lot about semi-precious stones.
Yeah, wandering around the desert.
Yep. So that was what made me go, oh yeah, I like Spider. And then I don't remember Glib at all. Like I don't remember.
And we're like, who else do we know?
When I think about it, I can't remember when I talked to Glib on our Megaten or interacting with Glib at all. So I don't know why he's in the podcast.
That's insane.
Like I'm not even being mean. I'm being very serious that I don't remember. It's
I met you on Jack Bros for sure. You're pretty active on there, so I'm sure that's where I first interacted with you. I don't remember when.
I knew you on Megaten too. I know all of you on our Megaten.
Yeah, but I don't think I've been on our Megaten before I left and you were joined.
I'm pretty sure you were. I don't remember though, to be honest.
Really?
You're very inactive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all would discuss things somewhat irregularly in like general.
Yeah, it's. I just remember that. And then also one time we VC'd and Neb was in the call, and I was like, Neb's voice sounds nice. Like so then I made a mental note of that, and then
it's because I'm hot.
You do have a nice voice. I don't know about the other comment.
Yeah, you waste to respond to your voice. You could be a voice model, or I don't know, voice actor. That's what
voice actor. Someone should hire me to voice act. I don't like acting, but it might be fun.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure there's no roles where you're yelling, because clearly you don't know how to do that.
I'm used to living in an apartment. I live in a condo right now, and there's no one. The closest person is probably like 20 feet away through 2 rooms. So
Neb asthma yelling.
Yeah, start my yelling reel.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I wanted Spider to be on the podcast because she's super knowledgeable, and always helpful to have someone who has a very strong understanding of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we need to have one smart person.
Yeah, it's Glib.
That's a funny joke, Spider.
Thanks, kind of, not really.
And Glib was supposed to be here because I didn't want it to be all like super like-minded. I wanted there to be. Like,
they're gonna say we don't want all old people, so we needed a Zoomer.
Yeah, that too. I was like, it'd be helpful for someone who understands young people, and since Glib is young.
Okay, you're really sounding old now.
Dude, I have to get people explain to me like young lingo all the time. So
me too, and it's really awful and embarrassing.
Yeah, but I don't have the shame anymore. I don't care. Just tell me what you're saying is now, you know. But yeah, so that's like from my perspective, that was like the approaching of the podcast. That's what I was thinking is why each person is good.
Yep, that's the lore. That's the lore for everyone.
Yeah, I think I don't think I ever told anybody. I don't think even you guys knew why I wanted.
Why you what?
Obviously, you need me.
Why I wanted any of you?
You told me a few times.
Oh yeah, that's because you need constant reassurance.
Oh, wow.
That's insane.
You know, Glib's on the verge of suicide every day, so we have to help him out.
That's why he's surrounded by angels.
It's like a beaten wife syndrome. Like every week you break me down and build me up.
Yep.
Glib negs me, so I don't feel any sympathy.
It's insane. We already talked about this. We already talked about this.
I like how someone pointed out that one of the definitions of negging is flirtatious comment.
Oh my!
Really adds another layer.
You should really see how me and Neb be DMing. I mean Glib. I mean, wow, Freudian slip.
I don't DM anyone.
Okay, next question.
People DM me. Okay, the next question. What do you think about random inheritance, random weighted inheritance versus manual inheritance? This is from Domain United on YouTube. So, Spider. So I guess this isn't very specific, but I mean, the random inheritances are from like The Strange Journey, Nocturne.
No, Strange Journey is weighted too. Both Knock and Strange Journey are weighted.
This is random weighted inheritance, which is that only the ones that are specifically weighted or all random inheritance? I think maybe they meant to put in a comment.
I don't think there is a game that's just random, not weighted at all. So I don't know.
Wait, what does that mean? Weighted?
Because certain skills will show up more often.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, they say random weighted inheritance versus manual.
Yeah.
What has manual? Like
where you choose what skills you want to put on the demon.
Yeah, like SMT4.
From the pool that it's available, not all of them. Just
this person is a Glib fan. They say also ask.
Yeah,
Glib.
I was going to do that as a second part. Yeah. Also ask Glib when the new video is dropping. XOXO.
Domain United.
Glib fan.
Glib fan. There's one Glib fan.
Oh, I clicked on their profile. They have a JoJo AMV.
Fighting gold.
Oh no.
65.
Wait, where's the comment at? I didn't see it. I got to screenshot it.
Someone delete it. Quick, delete it.
That's
this is going in the compliment folder.
He's creating folder now because the hateful is 9 gigs, and he's making the compliment folder now.
Lest I remind you, one of the most liked comments is someone saying, "You guys should do this." What was it? It
was like, for the next episode, can you turn Glib's audio to 0?
It's so mean.
Wasn't it Simply Dead?
I think it was Simply Dead.
I don't know, probably.
He's always saying something like super dumb.
Okay, so yeah, obviously, like I think we all agree, manual inheritance is like ideal. It's much less annoying.
I definitely do not.
But
I'm fine with it as long as it's the same pull skill. I don't like wasting time recycling, going like reroll for what I already know that's there.
Yeah, because like in Strange Journey, I don't remember exactly. Isn't it like only certain skills will move down or whatever, or it's like they have to be? You have to get their special thing to get it to transfer.
Their forma.
I don't remember.
You have to level them up to get the forma.
That was kind of an interesting twist on it, because you couldn't like perfect your guy, but there's no benefit just randomly.
I don't like that you can put the form on anything though.
Oh yeah, maybe it was that then. I don't remember how that works anymore. Anyway, doesn't matter. I think manual, just for convenience's sake, if they could come up with a cool way to do like random inheritance, that makes sense. I would be down to try it, but if it's going to be annoying, I'm just going to re-roll anyway, then fuck it. Just give me manual.
Yeah, that's basically my point, too. I was going to say, I prefer random weighted, but I don't think it's a perfect solution. I'd rather like a new type of thing, but I'm not sure what they would do for that. So I don't know. I think manual inheritance is really broken, to be honest. I don't like it at all. So
I mean, if you keep the manual inheritance, but you don't make more skills available, then it's the same thing, basically.
Yeah. I like in Apocalypse where you could get like skill affinity for the demons. I think that'd be cool if demons had affinity and they would only be able to inherit stuff that they're good at or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that system is a start. I wouldn't stop there.
That's what I'm thinking. Like something. There's like a core idea there that works, and they've got to develop it. But I was saying something like similar to that. But
yeah, I don't have any opinion because I don't really like. That's one of the mechanics that I don't really think about. Like you can even see that when I'm playing Rido, I'm not paying attention to what skills are going onto the demon.
I just roll until I'm like, okay, good enough. And that's how I have a Jack Frost with Agi and like Bane shot. No Bufu.
No, so I had to double back to the Gomaden twice because I had no demons with ice or electric skills. Because I would just fuse randomly. I'd be like, okay, well, I want a new demon, and I would get the loyalty up and then fuse, and then I wouldn't look to see what I lost. So I had to double back,
bro.
But it's because I don't care. Like I just like it's just not something I ever think about. Maybe I'm not a good planner. I think
you're not a gamer.
You don't need to be with Rido. It's fine.
True, but I'm saying like that's kind of unilateral. Like across all Megaten, I don't really plan. I just go, okay, well that didn't work. This and then it'll.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I just do the bare minimum of what I need, and then I'm like, okay, so this, and I need to do this. Okay, good enough. You know, even if I'm using a level 40 demon at level 70, if it's good enough and it works, why do I need more?
And I will say, because you you had mentioned how high level you were when you were playing on my thing when I ended chapter 5, I was I think I was 43 or 44.
44.
I spent like an hour grinding because I was like, am I really that under leveled? And it actually helped out because the boss was super obnoxious.
Oh my god!
I think that's just because I've been wandering around talking to all the NPCs and fusing whenever my demons have enough loyalty. I just fuse them away right away to get something else.
Loyalty. Yep, no, that makes sense.
Also, I think the wildest part about this podcast was discovering that you played an extra hour of Rido that you maybe didn't need to. That's insane to me.
Friendly reminder to do the faction event today.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mind, bro. I ain't worried about it.
Fucking carrying Dem Apocalypse, so don't even speak to me.
I have 5 pages of Rido notes, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. I have 2 sentences.
I have 0.
all of my notes are plot related, so it's like
I could speak on it a lot, but yeah, let's get off this topic before we fuck everything up.
More
so
questions.
Next question, yeah.
I didn't even answer the other question yet. There was 2 parts.
Oh yeah, when's the next video coming, Glib?
Okay, so I've been working on it for a while. I recorded it today, but I found out how fast I talk, and like I talk so fast that I paid attention slower than I could hear it. So I need to re-record it, I think. But
yeah,
I might have it out.
You gotta work at a cadence that works. Listen like newscasters and stuff.
Yeah. I got like a trick to like talk slower now, but it doesn't work that well. It works alright.
It might help if you have someone sit in Discord and you just tell the script to them. You know, just have them sit there silently. That way you have an audience and you're conscious of what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe.
Glib.
Didn't think about that.
It's called volume and diction. Work on your pronunciation of words and work on the projection of your voice, because those are the two things about you that are hard to understand for the podcast. So I imagine that you're just a jabberjaw when you're like recording your voice, your lines, because you talk really fast by default, but you also just have a tendency to just like not like you just sound so not self-confident. You sound like you know those memes where it's the Chad guy and then the guy hunched over. That's kind of the vibe you give off with your voice.
Are you calling
That's crazy.
Glib the virgin Glib and the Chad Larrue?
No, I mean like
Is that what you're
actually,
saying?
yeah, like actually think about the way you project your voice would improve that, and I think it would tie into your how you talk.
It would match how neat your script is, because that's really organized to
It's
like an insane degree.
your script is so easy to read too, so it's like when I read it, like I was reading it out loud because that's how I like proofread things. I think that's easier to understand when something is like doesn't sound right when you do it that way, and it was easy to read. Like I didn't stumble or anything, so I feel like you write in a way that's very comprehensible. You just gotta speak comprehensible instead of sounding like a beaker or something.
Oh wow!
I don't know who that is. So
Glib, do you know
offended.
who Beaker is actually?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think he sounds like Beaker.
You don't know
But
who
that's a
Beaker
great-
is?
I don't.
What
I'm not gonna
school
look
have
it
you
up
been
either.
living
Oh, my
in?
feelings hurt.
All
Just know that it wasn't.
right,
a
hold on.
nice
New podcast thumbnail.
Mimi.
Beaker with Krillin's head.
That's cursed.
Okay, we'll do one more question and then we'll be done. This is a very wholesome one from Warning Do Not Read at YouTube, who asks, I actually just want to know, how's everybody's day? That's part one. How's everyone's day?
Well, there's a storm right now, and there are tree branches flying off my tree out here and hitting the side of the apartment.
Nice.
That's pretty
Yeah.
spooky.
I mean, over here, it's just hot. So I've been taking like day naps, which I don't normally do. But I've just been like not sleeping well because it's too hot to sleep like a nice, well-rested sleep.
Damn, what's your AC like over there?
I don't like using AC.
Oh my god.
Air conditioning makes me like feel weird. I don't know.
That's what it's like when you're feeling cool, when you're at room temperature. That's the weird feeling you're talking about.
No. It's something about like the way that air conditioning, like the Freon or something, like it affects.
Freon?
Isn't that what's in air conditioners?
Yeah, I know that's that smell you're talking about. The air conditioning smell.
It literally makes me nauseous. I don't know why it does that. It does.
It
So I
does
don't
the
like
same to me too, but I have to have the air conditioner on because it's 110 out.
Yeah, I mean it's not it's not that bad here. It's about yesterday or the day before it was like 93 or something. So it's not crazy, but it is unbearable. So I slept a lot of today, and I played Fall Guys, and I lost every single time. So it's been a pretty whatever day. What about you?
I thought you were number one Fall Guy.
I am number one. Part of
No.
being the best is letting other people win.
Is that true?
Wow.
Letting them win, huh?
So gracious.
I don't like how this episode in particular, you guys are so against me.
Against you. Is that true?
You're against us, you're against food, you're against Glib's way he talks. I mean, come on.
Well, he just said something right now. Did you hear what he said? Can you repeat what he said to me? What did he say?
I don't listen to him, so this isn't a fair comparison.
To be honest, I forgot what I said.
Imagine the whole podcast, but we meet Glib and he doesn't know that.
Insane.
But yeah.
Oh my god.
What about you, Nat?
My day was all right, actually. You know, I went on a nice walk, got some sun, I slept in, cleaned, I made sweet potato fries, made some smoothies. Had a good time overall, and actually, I put a couple hours into a good game called World of Horror.
yeah,
Oh,
you
I
were
saw
talking about
that. That looks good.
It's
That game was cool.
very neat. I would highly recommend if anyone is interested in sort of eldritch horror type stuff, and or 80s Japan setting, and or a guy who's clearly ripping off Junji Ito, any of that sort of stuff, check it out. It's like $15 on Steam. Really, really well made so far. Really awesome. I won't speak to it too much because you can spoil a lot of stuff that you should definitely experience when you get into it. But yeah, he also had a part 2 to his question. He said, have you all been eating well?
Yes.
And I've been eating a lot of mushrooms. I've been eating portobello. I've been eating shiitake. No, I had sweet potato fries, like I mentioned. I had 2 different smoothies that were kind of smaller, just a little bit. Made a sandwich, turkey and provolone on sort of like a rye bread with mustard. That was good. I had something else small. I don't remember what else. All of it was good, though. I made all of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, not the mushroom part. That sucks. But I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I had a pretty good breakfast. It was 3-egg omelet with spinach and cheese. 2 protein pancakes. No. For lunch, I did a fruit peanut butter smoothie with protein powder mixed in, and that was like my lunch. And for dinner, I haven't eaten anything. I die because I don't feel hungry, which is weird. Because I only eat 2 meals. But yeah,
it's more time to intermittently fast.
I had grits and strawberries and yogurt for breakfast, and let's see, egg sandwich with hot sauce, mayo, and what is that stuff? Oh, spinach.
Oh, right.
And for dinner, I had noodles with kimchi, mushrooms,
gross,
and egg, soft boiled, of course.
Gross.
Soft boiled? What is that, like deviled? What's that?
No, they're more actually they're more like
they're like liquidy.
When you put it in the water and you boil it.
Yeah, poached, right?
Poached, yeah. I had a poached.
Oh, boy, I don't like that. They're fine, but
I like the yolk. I like the runny yolks. Although it's not too runny.
I like over hard. Have you heard over hard eggs?
What are those?
They're like it's kind of like sunny side up, but really fucked up, and it's kind of still runny a little bit.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's very bad for you. I think there's way more fat in it and oil because they cook it for
that's fine.
Yeah, I get that at Waffle House, but I haven't been there in years.
You just gotta, I mean, all you gotta do is just cook your egg with olive oil or coconut oil.
I do that. I used to make like a shittier version of scrambled eggs, and then I watched Big Night, I think it's called. You ever seen that movie?
Nope.
It's like these guys that work at this Italian restaurant. Some artist like Lou Bega or someone. I don't think it's actually him. Some artist, Lou Bega. God damn it. He's the Mambo number 5 guy. He doesn't show up. It's the guy who does I don't know. He's like a doo-wop singer or some shit. He's gonna come over to the restaurant and they got to cook food. And the whole thing's all about food. And then like the day after, they're all fucked up and hungover, and the guy makes eggs. And it's just this continuous shot of him preparing scrambled eggs. And I was like, I like that version. I've been making that ever since.
What does he do different?
Just olive oil, a little bit of salt. He does something else too that I don't remember because I haven't made eggs in like a week.
I like putting the salt on the yolk, that way it doesn't overcook. Yeah.
You mix it in when you're doing scrambled ahead of time. You stir it so it breaks up the proteins and shit. It's more cohesive. Anyway, more fluffy. Glib, what did you do? What have you eaten?
I ate pretty bad today. I spent all day recording, so all I had was chicken and a roll.
Chicken and a roll. Was there at least spice on this?
On the chicken, yes.
So was it fried chicken?
It was hot wings, I think, something like that.
Nice.
Oh, damn, I love wings.
The same.
Yeah, wings good.
I make a mean wing dip.
Probably
we should have a podcast sometime. Podcast potluck. Why did I say podcast?
Podcast potluck.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoiler cast where you make chicken. I'm waiting for it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I would love an egg-based podcast.
That would I would cook eggs for the podcast.
The thumbnail.
When am I
was
getting my popcorn? That's the real question
all
here.
various eggs.
I've been eating a lot of popcorn actually recently. It's a lot of fiber in popcorn. They don't tell you that.
Not that much fiber.
It's a good amount. It's a surprising amount.
It's like 3 grams per cup. That's like nothing.
Yeah, but you need a cup of popcorn real quick.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about popcorn anymore.
All right, yeah, we're done. The music is probably already playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Bye.
Yeah, you guys gonna say anything? What the fuck is happening?
Okay, well, thank you guys for watching and listening. Dang, I don't know what we're supposed to say.
Well, goodbye, fellow Megatennists.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, there we go.
Watch my video or your mom will die to sleep tonight.
Don't watch Glib's video. Downvote him.
You got to finish the video before they can watch it.
Ooh.
I finished recording. Gosh.
That's not finished.
Got it.
I'm trying to shill for Glib for a second. If Glib finishes his video before we put this podcast up, I'll put it in the description on YouTube. You can watch it there.
I definitely won't, sir.
Yeah.
That was the time to bribe me to not edit this quickly.
Oh, don't edit it quickly.
To not stay up all night editing.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, thank you guys for listening. Yeah. Just remember, these are like the cliff notes for the podcast. Nocturne Remaster is bad. Igus Rim expensive. Persona 5 Blu-rays bad. Atlas evil. Nintendo super evil. Sony
Switch bad. Switch bad.
Don't trust any
Doubling down. Switch bad.
Switch bad. Switch very bad. Goodbye, fellow. Wait, actually.